3 ranges, which is pretty fun stuff. If you haven't seen that yet, go to the day 25 of 66 video. But for today, we are doing a hero's hand reading range. So we are basically just looking at one hand and hand reading myself. You can see, as always, we are completely in the dark. It's a mystery as to whether or not we won these various hands and even what our hole cards were. If I scroll all the way to the right, we can see that information, but we are not going to do that. So we've done a lot of button and a lot of big blind hands. Let's do some MP hands this time. So you can see all these. When I'm choosing my hands, I basically go by the action presented. All these X's are checks, and checks don't allow me really to do a lot of hand reading or narrowing ranges through the streets, so I look for some action. Now this might be interesting. Bet and then array, so I'm assuming we get it all in on this turn here. So let's do this hand. It's not all the way to the river, but we could probably get some good action from it. So let's get started here. I am under the gun. I open, fold, all in, playing naked, calls, another caller, and a third caller. So let's see what happens real quick. Okay, so Captain Duck is our opponent. I always like to see who the opponent's going to be. So all in, playing naked, called us in position, but we're not going to concern ourselves too much with it. Captain Duck is the one that matters right here. So first off, what is my opening range under the gun? If we look at the 2-bet range, it's somewhere around between 15 to 12%, depending on how I feel about the table. How the action at the table, the players at the table. If I feel like I'm facing a ton of 3-bets from these guys here, then I'm going to be opening a more narrow range. If I'm getting a ton of calls from these guys, I'm going to open a more narrow range as well. Because, I wouldn't really want to open ace 10 suited and get 1, 2, 3 calls in position on me. We could see a few loose passive players here. So I'm going to assume right now that that I'm opening a rather tighter range, knowing that these guys are probably likely callers. So I'm going with a stronger range right here and opening to just 75 cents. Let's, oops, I forgot this, 87889205. Cool beans. So we'll take a look at my probably a little bit tighter of an opening range. Let's see, what date was this hand played? July 13th. It's possible I was still opening every pocket pair. Somewhere, can't remember, it was somewhere in July or August, I decided to stop opening these hands. But I don't remember when, so we will keep them well, not stop opening altogether. Stop opening in early position, especially in full ring games. Because when you open with these, yeah, it's great to show up with them sometimes, but you get called so often and you have to fold to so many flops because you have players in position on you in full ring games. So I will take I'm sorry, I will keep them in for now, but they are currently out of my opening range. 6-5 and 7-6. I do like the 8-7. That's possible. It's often 9-8 is my cutoff for opening in early position, but occasionally I'll open this depending on what's going on at the table, how I feel. I don't like opening these. I would most likely fold those. I'm most likely folding the ace-10 offsuit. Where's the hand? Most likely folding the ace-10 offsuit under the gun. It is a full ring, but it looks like we have 2 players out. But still, I often, if I'm multi-tabling, I just know it's a full ring table, and I click fold sometimes without looking to see how many players are actually in the hand. We have 1, 2, 3 players out, so it's basically a 6-max. I could be opening the ace-10 offsuit, actually. Oftentimes, because it's full ring, I'll still treat it like a full ring, especially if I'm multi-tabling, like I said. But let's just assume now that I am playing a 6-max game. So it is possible I've got these ones in my opening range here. Yeah, so we will give myself a slightly wider opening range because it's 6-max. All right, so let's go with this. I don't often open the Jack-9. We'll say that's not in my range here. Offsuit Broadways, nah, let's not open those. The kings I can. I'm sorry, the Jack, the King Jack and the Queen Jack. I can open those occasionally, not all the time. So I'll keep them in my range right here. So as you can see, my range is 17.6%. 234 combos. Cool beans. So, let's see. We had a caller on the button, and then Captain Duck decides to overcall right here. So let's give Captain Duck, look at that. He's a 59-0. It's only 17 hands, but he's super loose passive. Let's just give him a baby pair. Yeah, he's calling with a pair of fours. I mean, it could be anything. It could be ace 6 suited as well. Nah. Let's stick with my first. My gut reaction was a baby fours. So, we'll make that. Wow, if he had pocket fours, he flopped quads. What are they? Diamond and a spade. So, we have to go, whoops, club and heart for his fours. So, the fours were diamond and spade. What was that last card? A king of clubs. All right, so on this board, if this, I mean, I think this is our range for opening under the gun. If we have him, he's got 100% lock on the hand. I mean, the only thing, we hope we have queen jack suited and go runner for a straight flush in this instance. You know, I don't like putting him on quads. Let's put him on something that actually, there we go, pocket fives, another baby pair, but something that doesn't look like we're 100% dog in the game, you know, or 0% dog, whatever you call it. So on the king 4-4 board, he bets half pot, and I raise right here. I like it. And a call, I'm sorry, a fold, and then a call. Good. So on this board, he decides to lead out. Pocket fives, who knows? But we won't concern ourselves with this hand. I just don't want to give him quads anymore. So what am I raising? Now you can see the size of this raise was actually a pretty healthy size. Like, I think I'm going for value here. It's a hard board to hit. This guy's really passive. He's got to be betting with some kind of strength right here. So I am re-raising with strength. Sure, I have quads in my range. Although with quads, $14. Now there's going to be $9 in the pot. There isn't a big necessity to raise so big with quads. I'm going to take quads out of my range right here because I can still get all the money in versus this guy, because this is all that I'm fighting for. It doesn't matter that he has 32 bucks or he had 28 at the time. I have only $15. So that's all that I'm fighting for. So it would be pretty easy on this with his bet, and then a min raise, it'd be pretty easy to get all the money in by the river for sure if I had a really strong hand. I could be doing this with full houses, just hoping that he has a king, maybe like king queen, king jack, and is going to give me value. Maybe I have a full house and I'm, you know, he has a random 4 I'm trying to get value out of. So if I have a full house, which is only pocket kings, I'm definitely raising here. 3 of a kind, I like it with the ace 4 over pairs. Aces, I do like the raise here, charging a random king. Top pairs, all those top pairs, I do like raising here with all of them. Yep. Because if you think about it, he called with such a wide range. Sure, he has 4s in his range, but he also has king 9, king 8, king 7, king deuce suited. He has all those various kings because at the time, if you look at that, he only had to call 65 cents to try to win a total pot of 250. And he can assume that this guy's going to call. So he's getting really good odds on his 65 cents. He's calling a super wide range. So I think raising here with a king, with all of these different kings, is a good play because we're getting called by so many weaker kings. Pocket pair below top pair. Am I raising with these? I could raise one time as a bluff. It is possible. Yeah. Because really, he's only calling with kings. And let's say I had jacks or 10s right here. I'm raising in order to get him to fold a non-king and to avoid an ace or a queen or even a jack if I have 10s or 9s to come out. So it would be, I would consider it a bluff if I'm raising with those under pairs, which is a possibility on this board. And basically, it's a hard flop to hit, right? King 4-4. I could have ace 8. Well, no, I don't have any 8. I could have ace 10 suited. I could have ace 5 suited that flopped. I could have ace 5 of hearts that flopped absolutely nothing. So raising here is a decent bluff on this hard to hit board. So I could be doing it with a below pocket pair below top pair. I could be doing it with weak pairs. I could be doing it with ace highs because the board is so hard to hit. 2 card backdoor flushes I could be doing as well. So you can see this raise right here. It really does not limit my range that much. I'm taking quads out because I think I would raise less with the nuts. Oh, whoops. I think I would raise less with the nuts on this. I would just give him a min raise, try to get him to call and him to call as well, to just build that pot extra, you know. So with something so, I mean, you can even say with the full house, maybe I wouldn't be making that bet as well. Because why scare them off on a hard to hit board? So yeah, I'm going to take away both of these. I don't think I'm raising that much with the nuts. I think it's probably like an ace-king kind of hand, or even some kind of a bluff. King-queen can be doing as well for value. Yep, so I've got values and bluffs in my range. I took out the top part of my ranges here. So we're left at 89% of my range. My pre-flop range is betting here. 89%, 181 combos. All right. So, as we already saw, button folded, small blind called, and now a 10 of diamonds hits. Let's see what that does to our equities. 10 of diamonds. So, you know, he's not bet and calling with pocket fives, but if I change this now, it'll change the number of combos in my range. So I'm just going to keep it as is. But let's say this is what we're faced with here. The 10 of diamonds on the turn. We have 65% equity, our range does, versus a weak under pair, which is great. Things are looking good. If we want to count some combos here for like strong hands, you could see top pair and better. Let's remove these for now. You can see that we have 49 combos out of our 170, 181. Now that the 10 of diamonds hit, it removes some combos from our range. Out of the 170 possible combos on the flop, we have 49, so about less than a third. Wait, let's divide 60. Yeah, less than a third of our combos hit strong hands. On this turn now, 1/3 of our combos have a strong pocket pair or better, and the other 2/3 are a draw or a weak pair. That's how you can look at this right now. So let's see what the action is. He checks. I bet 450, so I'm betting half pot. I've got to have a value hand here. And then he raises, and at this point, I just shove. So what am I doing this with? What am I betting and then shoving with? Full house, pocket tens, totally, because I could have raised that pre-flop, like I said earlier, as a bluff to get every ace, every queen, every jack just to fold and to win that pot pre-flop. Or if they... Now I say a bluff, it does have showdown value, so like let's say I was raising with pocket tens pre-flop. I'm sorry. If I was raising with pocket tens on the flop, if they choose to call with an ace, a queen, or a jack, and those cards do not hit on the turn, then my bluff bet actually ended up gaining me a little bit of value. I can bet again on the turn, and then, you know, hopefully push him off the ace, queen, and jack because there's only one card to come. Like that. So sometimes your bluff bets with slightly weaker hands, with showdown value hands, can actually lead to gaining a little bit of value when your opponents decide to call those bets. But then also you could be giving value to your opponent just depending on, you know, depending on the cards and whatever happens, the action. Let's see, quads. So what are we betting? Half pot this time. So first off, if we just want to take a look at our betting range, what are we betting here, half pot? Am I going to double barrel this guy? I'm going to be betting with my value hand, tens full. I'm going to be betting with my 3 of a kind for value. My overpair, I'm going to be betting again with aces. I'm not going to check behind on this turn and then like fold on the river if he decides to bet. No, my aces are probably good. His call can indicate a 4. It's totally possible. But like I said, it could indicate a ton of those weaker kings. And then so I'm betting again with pocket aces with a stronger king to get value out of those weaker hands. Let's see. Am I betting 2 pair king? Oh, I'm totally betting 2 pair king 10. Because if he has a king, well, my 2 pair beats his weak 2 pair with kings and 4s. Top pair hands. Now, if we're just thinking about my betting range here, I like these as bets. I like these as bets. I like these as bets as well. So we can actually keep all of them in for sure. Top pair hands. Oh, I didn't need to do that actually. Top pair hands are in my betting range. Now, we might remove some when I start to think about what I'm bet and then 3 betting all in with. So we'll think about that here. Pocket pair below top pair, I can see those making the initial bet. Middle pairs, I'm often checking behind there. I just hit a showdown worthy hand with middle pair. I think I'm checking behind, so let's leave those off of my betting range. Weak pairs, I could turn that into a double barrel bluff on the 10. I could do that for just half pot, but then I'd be folding. So we're just looking at my initial, let's bring this back then. We're just looking at my initial bet right here. What am I just straight betting? Ace highs could bet as a bluff, a double barrel bluff. Even though we don't know much about this guy, we don't know how he folds versus c-bets, we could still pull off the double barrel bluff on this rather hard to hit board. No made hand. No, let's not put those in my betting range. Flush draws. Yes, I could bet those. If I'm going to bet on just straight bluffs, I could bet on a semi-bluff as well. Open-ender, I could make the bet. The gut shots here. Oh, yeah, they're ace high. Yeah, well, those are already included. See, it didn't. Once you take that, it doesn't change the combos at all. So, yeah, those were already included. Let's see here. So he decides to raise. Now, we got to think about what is he raising on this board. He's raising a 4, and he's possibly raising a king that he really likes. So he's probably not raising king deuce, 3, king 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He's probably raising king 10, and possibly king jack or better, right? So we can say he's got a strong top pair hand, 2 pair as well. Like, so it could be ace king, king queen. It could be 2 pair king 10, or it could be any random 4. And anything better than that, of course, flushes, not flushes, full houses count as well. So what am I re-raising over his strong raise here? I could be, when it comes to flush draws, I could be just saying I'm going to get it in with my flush draw and hope to hit, which I don't really like the play. Whoops, not that. Whoops, I meant to keep that in. But if I'm doing it, it's going to be a nut flush draw. None of these other cards have any kind of backup equity. Now, it could be a pair plus a flush draw, I mean. Absolutely. And it could be these nut flush draws. So I'm going to keep those ones in. What else am I shoving? Not no made hand. Ace highs, I don't think. I think I'm just bet folding on the ace highs. The weak pairs, bet folding right there, or bluffing and then folding. Pocket pair below top pair, I'm not shoving on those. You know, I just spent $4.50. I would rather just fold it and save my $10 instead of trying to bluff somebody who looks like he's going for value. At this point, like if you think about it, wait a second here. I only need 21% equity. If I have 9 outs for the full house, you can even count it as like 12 outs. If I have like an ace high flush draw. I said full house, I'm sorry. So I need 21% equity to call right. If I have a flush draw right now, and if it's an ace high flush draw, I also have 3 outs to hit my ace. So 9 outs for the flush, 3 outs equals 24 outs. I'm sorry, 12 outs total. Times 2 rule means I have 24% chance of hitting. 24% chance, I only need 21%. So it is worth shoving on those flush draws, the ace high flush draws right there. And then, of course, the pair plus flush draw. Shoving those is just fine as well. 2 pairs. Oh, well, 2 pairs, the king 10. It beats every other king that he has, even ace king, of course. Ace king, he's happy because he's got 2 pair with the ace kicker. Well, my king 10 beat you, buddy. So pocket pair, no. Oh, let's look at top pairs first. So I'm thinking the only thing he's raising with here, literally, is king jack. The only top pair that he's raising with is got to be king jack or better. I don't think he's raising king 9 or king 8. King jack maybe not even raising right here. So I don't like re-raising with the king jacks. The king queen I don't like raising either. I would probably just call in this instance. No, actually, come to think of it, I apologize. I am getting these in because let's see, we got to think about what he's raising here. He's raising king jack or better. So why would I re-raise with, well, I've got to go with these hands. If I can put king jack in his raising range, then I've got to at least call and look at that pot right here. If I just call, I'm going to have 7. I'm going to have like $3 behind. I should just get it in right now. So my get it in range should be with all my top pairs as well as my best draws at the same time, which is only a few there. Bummer. Yep. So let's see here. We're getting it in with this entire range. So let's keep them all in. 2 pairs getting it in. Over pairs getting it in. 3. Yep. Everything else right there. Getting it in this instance. So 31% and 53 combos. So if this is our range, and let's put him on a king queen. Dang it. Well, it's a king queen of diamonds. We have 52% equity, even with our flush draws, because we have all the 2 pairs and good top pairs as well. Let's put him on a random 4. If he has a 4, we only have 14% equity. We're just basically hoping for a flush that does not pair the ace right there. You know, if we have the flush draw. Yep. But we'll just keep him on 5s like we had. All right, so looks like we get it in, and he calls. And this is our final get it in range. Let's see what we ended up having. King, queen offsuit. Yep, and that is in our range. You can see it right there, and it makes total sense the way we played it. And the way he played it makes sense too. I mean, he called with the jack 4. I didn't think maybe that he could call with such a weak jack pre-flop. But like I said in the outset, he had a ton of... from the outset, he had a ton of... what do you call it? He had a ton of 4s in his range, but he had a ton of kings and queens and aces, and he had plenty of 4s in his range as well. And he had, if we look at that outset from the beginning, he only needs 26% equity. So yeah, he can call with the jack 4, stuff like that. Good, good, good. Yep, and we just didn't know enough about the player at all to know that his turn raise means he's totally got a full house or better, you know. And then so at the time, you know, we had top pair with a good kicker. And then his raise, sure, I guess it could have been ace king and the 4s at the time, and I guess we just got lucky on the river right there. So possibly it was probably a potential fold. Let's see here. Riverbend ace ace, beluga whale strategy auto fold. Yep, Riverbend, you're probably right about that. Beluga whale strategy is an auto fold right there. When they're raising on the turn, playing the flop the way he did, it probably is a good fold right there. But you know, I played it the way I did. I got lucky. 450. When I bet 450, I mean, so I guess what I could have done is just play this very cautiously. I could have just checked behind, and then when he bets 450 on the river, I could have just called with my king showdown worthy hand right here. So maybe my bet, it was a double barrel bluff. No, I'm sorry. It was a double barrel for value, knowing that he had plenty of kings in his range. So if you think about the jack 4, let's look at his range real quick. So his calling range pre-flop, right? If we give him a wide 50% range and on a 4-4 king board, 3 of a kind is 22. He has all those different combos right there. But if we also look at his top pair hands, he has 108 combos of top pair hands currently, if this was his calling range. So let's see, 108, 22. So 1/6 of his range currently beats us, and the other 5/6 we are currently beating. So I'm good. I'm still good with my turn value bet, because look at all those kings in his range that can possibly be calling us right here. And his 4s, he only has 22 combos of 4s that beat us. Now, we could say that, hey, the fact that he raised, maybe now we can, the top pairs, maybe we can totally remove all of these from that raising range. And he's only raising maybe his pair plus flush draws, like, because this was a king of diamonds. Because this was a king of diamonds. Maybe all the top pairs, we can just keep in his king X of diamonds hands, you know, so he has a top pair plus a flush draw and a lot of 4s in his range. So if that's the case, yeah, maybe it's maybe the double barrel value bet isn't a good play. But I think the way I read it at the time, he could have a lot of weaker kings. I think it's still a valuable play. And then once the pot is already so big, I've got 2 pair, I have outs for a full house. If he does have just a random 4, and if he's just pushing with any random king and I don't know much about him, I think it's still a valuable play right there. Oh, Riverbend, yeah. Oh, no, yeah, sorry about that, buddy. Yeah, the 5s were, because I'm hand reading the hero, I just automatically assign him a random hand. You know, that's all it is right there, because just to see what the equities are. I mean, he could have called with, like we saw right here, a super wide range. But yeah, I think, you know, the hand reading went well. I hand read myself. It made sense that I had king queen offsuit right there, raising under the gun pre-flop. And, you know, I'm fine with my plays on the flop and the turn. So I think everything went well with this hand. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for joining Riverbend in the comments on Twitch right here. And I will catch you all for day 27 next. Take care.